The Afghan-American Chamber of Commerce serves the interest of its members through numerous programs, advocates for a free and open market economy in Afghanistan, and endeavors to strengthen U.S.-Afghanistan economic relations. AACC's annual U.S.-Afghanistan Business Matchmaking Conference is the world's leading event for promotion of the private sector, business matchmaking, and investment in Afghanistan. AACC works to ensure that Afghanistan's economy and employment of the Afghan people remains a top priority for the U.S. and Afghan policymakers, and serves as a link between business and government to encourage progressive economic policies that will result in increased business, job creation, and investment between the U.S. and Afghanistan. We believe that peace and stability can only be achieved in Afghanistan through the success and growth of the private sector. It is the goal of AACC to promote the exchange of information and provide resources to its members through investment conferences, seminars, networking events, publications, and other avenues to stimulate U.S.-Afghanistan business and investment. The Afghan-American Chamber of Commerce, facilitating U.S.-Afghan business, investment, and trade ties.
Good afternoon. To introduce my friend, private sector VIP industry keynote address, Mr. Dr. Ehsan Bayat. I'd like him to come here on the stage with me and I'll make the introduction. So if he can join me on the stage, please. Dr. Ehsan Bayat goes back, we go back in Virginia and New Jersey for many years. I think I would consider him as one of the founding members of AACC even, because he was part of the AACC board and team that helped create AACC, and was one of the first supporters of the Afghan-American Chamber of Commerce, which I will read the brief introduction, but actually the first recipient of the Business of the Year Award for AACC was given to Dr. Ehsan Bayat for his support to AACC and also his initiative and support for the private sector in Afghanistan. I'd like to read this short introduction, but there's a lot more to talk about him, but I'm going to read this quick introduction about Dr. Ehsan Bayat. Ehsan Bayat is the founder and chairman of the Bayat Group, Afghanistan's largest diversified services company. The Bayat Group operations in Afghanistan include Afghanistan Wireless Communication Company, AACC. Most of you are familiar with them, the first wireless phone company in Afghanistan, which serves approximately 5 million subscribers throughout Afghanistan. AACC was Afghanistan's first wireless company and established Afghanistan's wireless communication sector. Ariana Television Network is Afghanistan's largest private media operation, broadcasting to all 34 provinces and reaching an audience of approximately 25 million Afghans. Bayat Energy, an oil and gas exploration, development, and production company. In addition to these three enterprises, the Bayat Group also owns highly successful companies operating within the construction, security, logistics, and consumer goods sectors. In 2005, Ehsan Bayat and his wife, Fatima Bayat, established the Bayat Foundation, but also among Afghan refugees in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, and also among refugees in Pakistan. The Bayat Foundation has sponsored more than 300 projects dedicated to improving the health and welfare of Afghans, including the construction of 13 maternity hospitals, which have treated more than 1.5 million Afghan women and children. Ehsan Bayat has received the following awards and honors in recognition of his achievements as business leader and philanthropist. Like I mentioned, one of the first awards was given by the Afghan-American Chamber of Commerce as Businessman of the Year. In 2010, he received Mahatma Gandhi Humanitarian Award from the Friends of the South Asian American Communities. In 2008, he received the Corporate Social Responsibility Award from the Canada-Afghanistan Business Council. 2007, first recipient of the Businessman of the Year Award by the Afghan-American Chamber of Commerce, which I mentioned. 2006, he received the National Human Rights Award, awarded by the Afghanistan Human Rights Association by President Hamid Karzai. 2017, he received Mother Teresa Award for Social Justice. At this point, I'd like to have Dr. Ehsan Bayat come on the stage and give us the afternoon keynote sector for the private sector.
Chairman Lutfi, President Greco, President Emeritus Ritter, and to the Board of Directors of the Afghan-American Chamber of Commerce, Minister Farouqi, Chairman Azizi, Senior Government Representatives of the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, honored guests, and friends of Afghanistan. I am honored to have been selected as a keynote speaker at this wonderful event. But most importantly, I am thankful to you, the leadership of the Afghan-American Chamber of Commerce, and to everyone in attendance today for your enduring support for the right of the Afghan people to build a nation that is secure, prosperous, educated, and committed to providing equal rights and economic opportunity to all of her citizens. Today I have been asked to share with you, all of whom are our partners in Afghanistan's progress, some thoughts about private investment in Afghanistan, the future that such investment can help secure for the nation, and some very promising news about the innovative new companies and programs that the Bayat Group has launched during 2017-2018. We believe these steps, some quite large in size and others more moderate, not only serve as signposts on how investors, particularly American investors, can explore and help build a promising market, but also will help develop and modernize four important sectors of Afghanistan's economy, namely energy, advanced telecommunications, mobile banking and mobile payments, small and medium-sized enterprise development. But first, let me provide some brief context for those that may be new to the Afghan market or this esteemed forum. In 2002, the Bayat Group was the first private company to invest in a newly liberated Afghanistan. In 2018, I am proud to say that we are Afghanistan's largest private company, its biggest private sector employer, Afghanistan's leading source of privately funded direct investment, and although my CFO reminds me that this is not a title we want to keep forever, the nation's largest taxpayer. Our workforce of more than 6,000 employees is 99% Afghan, and they're among the most well-educated and technologically sophisticated young men and women of their generation. They represent our nation's capability, hope, and future, and we are so proud of them. My friends, in the past 16 years, we have invested more than $500 million in the rebuilding and renewal of Afghanistan, and with some new projects which we have recently signed with the government of Afghanistan, another $250 million is on track. So this promise I make to you, the Bayat Group's commitment to helping develop a prosperous, productive, and progressive Afghanistan is permanent and unshakable. We believe in the nation, its people, the market, and the business opportunities that exist. Furthermore, we believe the opportunity to explore new sectors, form new partnerships, and to continuously strengthen existing relationships with each of you here in the audience and every organization attending this conference, because only by moving forward together will Afghanistan move forward towards a brighter, better future. Having shared some context with you about our group, I would like to now share some thoughts about what can make investors successful in Afghanistan. These are lessons learned from over 16 years of doing business in Afghanistan. Lesson 1, start small. Afghanistan has many needs and much potential. The size of the market gap between what is required and what is available is often large. From a business standpoint, it is tempting to see these large gaps and then naturally plan a business or project to completely fill the gap. Instead, I urge you to start small. Implementation in Afghanistan is always hard, often harder than anyone can ever imagine. And rather than trying to secure approval, funding, capital expenditures for the massive power plant, network, factory, or whatever you are contemplating to fill this gap, I instead suggest you start small. You can be more agile, responsive, and faster to market, which leads directly to the next lesson. Lesson 2, scale quickly. Starting small doesn't mean you have to curtail your ambitions. Instead, I urge you to scale quickly. Use new technologies to move up the value chain and size of services spectrum as fast as you can. Daisy chain, smaller investments together in a phased approach. The best examples I can provide of this approach come from our telephony business and our new power business. In the case of Afghan Wireless, we did not build our entire network at once and then turn on service. Instead, we started with a few BTS sites in Kabul, turned on service, and expanded quickly from there. Similarly, our power project has 3 phases planned. The first will be up and running within 120 days of final documentation. The second can come in 6 months later, and the larger fixed plan, the third phase, will be built during these first phases. This phased approach allows you as investors to show success to the market, provide essential services to the people, generate revenue for the government, create much needed jobs, gain confidence with potential lenders and financial partners, and generate cash flow and returns to help you further scale your ventures. Furthermore, by starting small, you can move quickly. You can learn more lessons of what works and what doesn't. You can fail fast and adapt. And most importantly, you can show the Afghan people and marketplace that you are matching action and investments towards. There are many folks with grand investment visions for Afghanistan, for business in Afghanistan, but without successful transactions on the ground, the visions don't do anything for the future of our nation. I can't emphasize this enough. Successful transactions are critical to grow the economy, and you cannot have the transactions without action. Starting small is easier. Lesson 3, embrace diversity, ambiguity, and adversity. The Bayat Group's investment strategy in Afghanistan can be summarized in 2 sentences. Diversity is both our enduring business strategy and our enduring strength. The road to progress in Afghanistan is paved with persistence and patience, lots of patience. Now let me describe just what we mean by diverse investment strategy. Although the range of our investments, especially the opportunities we have pursued during 2017-2018, represent the communications, natural resources, infrastructure, technology, and venture funding sectors, the scope of our business operations in Afghanistan is very diverse and market-leading. The Bayat Group began in 2002 as Afghan Wireless, Afghanistan's first mobile communication company, and the founder of Afghanistan's wireless communication industry. Today, the Bayat Group provides millions of Afghans with an array of technologically innovative and popular products and services, from 4G LTE communication services to cable news, high-speed internet, construction, bottled water, and a mobile money service that allows Afghans to pay for a variety of products and services. A diverse perspective means that we don't limit ourselves to operations in one industry. Instead, we seek to develop the most promising market opportunities in Afghanistan. Wherever they may be, we look for what we call enabling infrastructure opportunities that serve all Afghans, whether that is in physical infrastructure, technical infrastructure, or human capital through training, health interventions, and education. Diversity as a business strategy and a company mission empowers us to take what I call advantageous risks, to develop new lines of business. We are not afraid to be the first company or among the first companies to launch a new commercial scale enterprise, or even be the first to establish an entirely new economic sector in Afghanistan. We seize the opportunity to be among the earliest operators within a market for these reasons. We want to build companies which provide essential services to Afghans and that also accelerate Afghanistan's economic and social modernization. These companies must also help build a foundation for long-term sustainable economic growth. We want our success to create success for other companies. Part of our long-term business strategy is to encourage the formation of small and medium-sized companies who can become strategic partners to the Bayat Group. Here's an example of how this strategy helps our country. The Bayat Group now has strategic partnerships with hundreds of vendors throughout Afghanistan. And we estimate that what we call this ecosystem of partnerships that we have developed has generated over 100,000 jobs in Afghanistan. We are confident that our strategy of launching companies in sectors deemed as too risky by others, companies with the potential of creating millions of new customers, can be applied successfully to our efforts to rebuild Afghanistan's energy exploration and power production sector. Lesson 4. Invest in both Afghanistan and America, leveraging significant contributions already made. Nearly 7,000 miles separate Kabul from Washington, D.C. Yet, it is here, in the boardrooms, factories, and offices in the U.S. where we believe many of the next wave of new projects will be born that will give rise to the new era in which American private sector investment using American technological innovation can build upon more than 16 years of America's generous political, economic, and security commitment to rebuild our nation. This partnership, a collective commitment between our nations to help one another achieve a shared goal of improved economic security, is an investment in the future of both our nations. As we have seen with our recently announced power project, we can make investments that will not achieve returns for us in Afghanistan, that will not just achieve returns for us in Afghanistan, but also here in the homes of engineers, technicians, and other folks involved in bringing, in the case of Bayat Power One, the turbines to life in Houston, Texas. In closing, I want to thank you all for being dedicated and unyielding champions of Afghanistan economic development. Your presence here today confirms that there is both a vision and a desire to take the challenging steps to invest in our nation. As my 4 lessons suggest, it can be tough at times, but the reward is great. Commercially, personally, and for those young Afghans who will be obtaining jobs, learning skills, and building the network of entrepreneurs who will lead Afghanistan into the future. I would also like to thank the entire United States nation. Your sacrifice on behalf of Afghans has been great, and your commitment significant. Yet, as we see today, with this private sector investment, the Afghan-American partnership not only endures, but it is growing stronger and more diverse. In my case, it is a privilege for the Bayat Group to be working with visionary American companies and suppliers partnered based in Houston, Florida, and elsewhere that are creating jobs here that will enable Afghanistan to realize a power project that will benefit the entire Afghan nation and give rise to a new gas-fired company. I would also like to thank the Afghan government represented here by a number of senior officials. With your leadership in setting open and transparent regulatory environments and creating welcoming investment regimes, we are taking a vital step towards establishing a true private sector for Afghanistan in a new era of economic achievement for our country. New businesses will provide meaningful work to our fellow Afghans by providing them new skills and a new ability to provide a good and hopeful life for their families. And new investments will give women opportunities to develop skills and enable, encourage, and champion their efforts to realize their entrepreneurial potential. All of us here today should be proud and grateful for the opportunity we have been given to contribute to the rebuilding of Afghanistan. The Bayat Group has been privileged to be involved for the past 16 years and will be involved for many, many more years ahead. We want to share our ideas, expertise, and vision with you so that the road of progress we built together in Afghanistan is big enough and is strong enough to carry all Afghans to support their hopes, their talents, and their determination to always move forward and build a brighter, better, and more prosperous future for our country. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Do we want to do a couple of questions or no, Suleiman? Are you
sure? We have time. We can do this. If you can stay a few minutes, some questions.
Just a few questions from our guests here in the audience for Dr. Bayat. Here's your chance to talk to the largest taxpayer in Afghanistan. Dr. Bayat, I'm going to start if no one's ready. So, how you've managed to make success across multiple sectors, which is very difficult in any industrializing, developing country economy to be able to do successfully. You've given us great lessons learned today, starting small, scaling quickly, embracing ambiguity and diversity, and ending with investing in both the Afghan and U.S. relationship. So, if you have young entrepreneurs in the audience, Afghan or American, that are looking to build businesses, what should be their main focus in their first year in Afghanistan? Outside of these 4 lessons, do you think, is finance a key area for them? Should they be more worried about the government, regulatory side, and spending more time on that? What specific triggers or challenges for a young entrepreneur to start in Afghanistan should be their main focus?
For the young Afghans or our friends from anywhere in the world want to invest in Afghanistan or want to start in Afghanistan, they should get an education in Afghanistan and its culture to begin with. And I think the road to success is there. Just need to have the courage and the persistence to go for it. Educating yourself in Afghan needs, I think it's important. And for any Afghan, any young or any new investors coming to Afghanistan, persistence. Just be persistent on what you want. You have to have a set of goals. You know, to reach those goals, it will take time, but you'll reach it eventually. I shouldn't be saying this, but when we started the, but this is a boost for our current president, Dr. Ghani. When we started our telecommunication business, he was the one who wrote the law for telecommunication. He came, you know, when we visited him the first time in 2002, he said that the telecommunication will be a very successful enterprise in Afghanistan, and it needed to be a set of rules. So he and the group of advisors that were there, they started writing the rules, and you know, we implemented from there on. And the telecom sector, Chairman Azizi is here, has become the most successful enterprise in Afghanistan because we had a set of rules. So for any investment in Afghanistan or anywhere in the world, if there are a set of rules that, you know, guide you through it, I think it will become a lot easier. But if there are no rules or there are no laws on certain businesses, it will be hard for anybody to become successful.
Very good. Any other hands for questions from our businessmen? Oh, there we go. One over here. 1 second. If you could identify yourself and your organization.
Thank you. Kolya Volim, I'm with Creative Associates. And my question to you, sir, is in hiring young Afghanis, what are the biggest skills gap that you have identified and how do you think they should be tackled?
Skill sets. Or skill gaps, sorry. Okay.
Afghan Wireless, or the Bayat group, has been one of the pioneers in educating the young Afghans through its inception. I think we are the largest private enterprise educating youngsters to become successful in their life, being by management or technical skills. And we actually promote from amongst our own ranks to become managers and senior technical advisors, or even the managing director of a company. They all started from within the company, the Afghan Wireless. So having technical knowledge, having management knowledge, or just, again, rules and regulations, I think that will help a lot.
We have some U.S. large-scale manufacturers that are here. I know that your recent energy transaction involves purchase potentially of a Siemens turbine. And I know on Kajaki 2 that they're looking at a GE turbine on the hydro project. What do you think is the best lesson for U.S. companies that are manufacturing high value-added components, whether it be in ICT or power distribution or other sectors? What do you think is the best lesson that you could give to these U.S. manufacturers about getting involved in Afghanistan now, as opposed to waiting it out to see if we're having security in 12 months or not?
I was going to address that issue tonight, and also I think the power sector will address it tomorrow. And of course, in the case of ICT, right after this discussion. The new technology, I mean, if they wait for longer, the benefits or the rewards that are available now will not be as rewarding, I should say, later on during their investment period. I think once you go into a territory like Afghanistan, which is totally virgin for technology, for energy generation, this is the time. We encourage our partners, and they are already on board with us. Going forward, Siemens is very much enthused about becoming a long-term partner for Afghanistan, rebuilding the existing hydropowers, and investing in more gas-fired power plants for Afghanistan. So they're already very enthusiastic about the prospect of being long-term partners in Afghanistan, which they used to be in the 1960s. So I suggest for all our major partners and the folks who are interested in Afghanistan, this is the time to invest in Afghanistan. This is the time to reap the benefit of what is out there. As of this moment, I said we started with telecom. It became the most successful business, not in Afghanistan, even for the whole area. Afghanistan has the most modern telecom system in that part of the world, I would say. Maybe even in the world, actually. We're using 4G LTE networks, and although, being the chairman of the company, I hear complain once or twice that my call dropped, all the way in my phone in Florida. But we do have a much better service than some of the neighboring countries. And Chairman Azizi here is to witness to that.
What a great lead-in to our next panel. All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Bayat. Tonight, I encourage all of you to please join us at the JW Marriott for the award reception that we have. We will hear more from Dr. Ehsan Bayat, and we have a good reception this evening. So right now, we're going to go to our ICT panel, and my colleague Oliver, if you want to come, you're the moderator, so then also the chair of our working group for ICT. So you want to do the introductions? And yeah, you can start calling them, or the whole panel, or just recognize everybody to come on the table, and you go ahead and lead.